Hello, in today's video I'll go through the worst crashes in the history of Formula 1. Make sure to hit that subscribe button, turn on the notifications bell and hit that like button. Let's proceed now. 1. 1955 Monaco Grand Prix, Alberto Ascari. During the 1955 Monaco Grand Prix, there may have been the strangest crash in the annals of Formula 1. Alberto Ascari, a two-time world champion, started the race in the second row. He engaged in combat with J.M. Fangio and Stirling Moss the entire race. Due to transmission issues, Fangio had to retire, leaving Ascari and Moss to compete for the lead. Moss' vehicle experienced an engine failure on lap 80. Ascari ought to have turned around to take the lead, but he was stopped in the pits. For whatever reason, his automobile missed a chicane and rammed straight into a barrier. His automobile smashed through the wall and ended up in the Mediterranean. Yes, he was submerged. Everyone feared the worst as his automobile vanished from view. He miraculously surfaced and swam to a nearby boat. He unexpectedly only sustained a broken nose. It was amazing to see him escape with only a slight wound. For crying out loud, his car slid into the sea. That must be difficult to get away from. What makes this circumstance so tragic is that Ascari passed away a few days later in a testing crash. It wasn't related to his accident in the Monaco Grand Prix. 2. 1961 Italian Grand Prix, Wolfgang von Trips. The Italian Grand Prix was the second-to-last competition in 1961. Four drivers, including Wolfgang von Trips and Phil Hill, competed for the championship. Hill lined up fourth, with von Trips starting on the pole. High banking turns during the Italian Grand Prix at Monza permitted fast speeds along the front stretch. Von Trips' vehicle collided with Jim Clark at the conclusion of the second lap. Von Trips' car turned left and continued straight up a slope as a result of the collision. Fans were seeing the action from the top of the hill. Sadly, the automobile ran over onlookers and killed 15 individuals. Von Trips' automobile slammed into a fence and took off in the air. After being flung from the car, he passed away. Formula 1 decided to keep going with the race for some reason. Hill claimed both the crown and the victory. This was the last Formula 1 race to be held on that course. The high-banked corners were removed when the oval component of the circuit was removed. That was a wise decision considering how quickly those automobiles can turn in those turns. 3. 1976 German Grand Prix, Niki Lauda. In the 1970s, the Nürburgring circuit was considered to be among the most hazardous. And on a clear track no less. That wasn't present at the 1976 German Grand Prix. The race was called off because of rain the day before. One of the drivers who voted against running the race was Niki Lauda. However, the race went forward as planned after the drivers decided to go. The majority of drivers pitted after the opening lap to switch to dry tires when the rain stopped. On the second lap, Lauda's car had just gotten around a left kink. As he neared the straightaway, his car abruptly veered to the right and struck the wall head-on. He was unable to escape alone after his car caught fire. Fortunately, a couple motorists were able to assist him in escaping the fire. Lauda went into a coma after sustaining serious burns to his body. Amazingly, Lauda bounced back from the collision and started competing 6 weeks later. He not only returned to Formula 1, but also took home 2 championships before his career came to an end. The fact that it came after one of the worst F1 crashes in history makes it even more extraordinary. 4. 1994 San Marino Grand Prix, Ayrton Senna. One of the best Formula 1 drivers in history was Ayrton Senna. From 1988 through 1991, Senna won 3 championships. Senna changed clubs during the winter, and his 1994 season didn't get off to a fantastic start. Neurosurgeon Sid Watkins informed Senna that he was no longer required to compete after Ronald Ratzenberger's tragic accident. Senna dismissed him and was eager to advance in his career. For the San Marino Grand Prix in 1994, he got off to the pole position. he was slightly ahead of Michael Schumacher on lap 7. Senna approached a left turn, but he was unable to maneuver, and his car slammed into a wall. Even though Senna was able to slow down, he still struck a concrete wall at 130 miles per hour. Senna was struck in the head by his right front wheel, which rose into the cockpit as he collided with the wall. Unfortunately, he was killed by that strike since he fractured his skull. In addition, a piece of debris that pierced through his helmet caused him to lose a lot of blood. If there is a silver lining to his tragedy, it led to improved safety procedures. Those safety precautions probably saved a few lives and spared several injuries. 5. 2020 Bahrain Grand Prix, Romain Grosjean. Although big crashes are rare these days, Romain Grosjean's incident at the 2020 Bahrain Grand Prix caused us quite a shock. There was a little bit of a stack-up at the rear of the pack during the opening lap of the race. When Grosjean hit the front of Daniil Kvyat's vehicle, he was propelled at 119 miles per hour and crashed into a fence. His car split in two and caught fire as a result of the angle at which he struck the fence. When you witness a crash like that, you automatically assume the worst. His car was burned out and in two parts. Nobody wants to consider the worst, but many of his supporters were worried about his health. The driver compartment, thankfully, was unharmed. The halo device also had a significant role in preventing a serious head injury. It was required by Formula 1 in 2018, and it has already prevented serious injuries for a number of drivers. Only second-degree burns, however, were sustained by Grosjean. Considering the seriousness of his accident, it was an incredible feat. Thank you for watching. Please make sure to subscribe, turn on the notifications bell and hit that like button. See you in the next video.